Okay, programming exercise 7 asks us to write a new routine called NamePiece, because what it wants is after each move it'll give a little description of what piece was moved and where from and where to. It's a nice little touch, makes it feel a little bit more realistic, I suppose, like an actual game would do. So we can do that. It's fairly straightforward actually. I will write my... It's just going to output some stuff to the screen. I'm going to write it as a procedure. You could write it as a function, return the string, and then output the string in the main, but I'm trying to keep stuff out of the main as far as possible, so I'm just going to write this as a procedure. NamePiece. And it's going to take quite a few different parameters. It's going to take the board, which is obviously an instance of T-board, and then it's going to take all of these that we're quite used to by now, which are all integers. Again, I'll just say, I mean, I'm sending these as parameters because it's good programming practice. Of course, these are all actually global variables, so the code as it stands at the moment, you could get away without doing this, but it depends what they ask you for in the exam. So I'm just showing you this way of going about it. Sorry, I'm going as if it's a function there. It doesn't need to return anything, so we don't need anything there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to declare a variable called piece name, and all will become clear in a minute. That's going to be a string variable to keep track of whatever we decide the name of the piece is. So there's two steps to this, okay? What it wants it to say is something like black readum moves from 3-2 to 3-3. So actually, in a way, that there's actually three pieces to it. There's finding the colour, there's finding the piece, and then there's specifying where it's moving from and to. So the first part, finding the colour, well, we need to look at the start position, yeah? So if we say if board start file, we're looking at the two-letter string that will be in this slot of the board array. To find the colour, we're interested in the first character within that string. So remember, because a string is just actually an array of characters, we can just put the 1 in square brackets around it just to take the first character from that string, which will be either a B or a W. So I'm going to say if it's a B, remember it's capitals here because that's how it's been set up, so it won't work if you put lowercase. If the board is equal to a capital B, then actually I don't need the begin and end, it's just going to be a one-line thing. So I can just get away, keep my code uncluttered. Piece name is going to become black. Now you might think, oh, but piece name, like black isn't a piece name. No, it isn't, but it's a start. Okay, we're going to add something else onto the end of that string later. I don't need a semicolon because I'm going to write an else, because if it isn't B at the beginning of the piece name, then obviously it's white. It's the only option. So there we've got the first bit sorted out. It's going to work out whether it's a black or white piece. Now it's a little bit more confusing because we've got 6 different pieces it could be. We know what colour it is, but we don't know what piece it is, and there's 6 different colours. The nice thing is that we're looking, remember, at one character. And if you've got an integer or a character and you've got lots of different options to check whether it's this one or this one or this one, something should be telling you to use a case statement. Because I tried this earlier using an if statement and it takes a lot of typing, and you're going to be in an exam, you're not going to have much time. So you want to use a case statement. So what I will do here is I will just put something like piece char, and I will say that piece char becomes this, but it will be the second character. You could get away without this line if you want to do it just straight from this, but I like just have it nice, my code's sort of nice and easy to read. So then I say case piece char of, and I can put my different options now. Okay, so it could be that it's an M. Okay, in which case I want piece name to become whatever it already is, like black or white or whatever. But then I want to add, you know, when you're adding two strings together, it's called concatenation. So I want to concatenate. I want to add that to Martha's Panny. It's an M. But it could be an S. In which case I want, and I'm just going to, again, copy and paste. You need to save yourself time in the exam where you can. Sarrum. Could be a G. In which case, it's a Gixigir. Did I spell that right? Gix. No, Gixigir. Etlu. Nabu. And a Redum. So by the time we get to the end of this bit of code, we'll have started off working out, okay, is it a black piece or a white piece, and we'll have set piece name accordingly. And then we'll have checked the second character in that start position, and we'll have then saved that in a variable called piece char, and we'll have considered all the different options that piece char might be, and added that appropriate piece name onto the beginning of piece name, which was either black or white. So we'll now have we can now put a string out there that says like black Martha's Panny, or you know, white Sarrum, or something like that. But that wasn't all we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to write where it's moved from and to. That's actually the relatively easy bit here. So we'll just put a right line statement. We could say that piece name, so black Redum or whatever, has moved from start file, start rank. But of course, if you want this to look pretty, you're going to have to put in some commas between start file and start rank, and that gets a bit confusing because we're using commas as separators as well, but you can keep on top of it, I'm sure. So it's moved from start position to right, let's give that a go. Oh, I've never called it. That's the other thing I've got to do, obviously. It's an easy mistake to make again. Before we make the move here, we'll name the piece, we'll say what's going to happen. And I made a quick mistake, okay. Hold on a second. Okay, quite a minor thing that was, I always do this, and then I never remember. Case doesn't have a colon at the end. I always try and put one. Of course, where I've said NamePiece, I haven't sent it the parameters that I have specified that it takes. Board, start rank, start file, finish rank, finish file. I'm actually just going to nick those out of the declaration there. So, easy mistake to make. Of course, I need to take out the part where I specify the types, because that's only necessary in the declaration. Okay, let's try that again, third time lucky. So if I move something now, it tells me white Gixigir has been moved from 8.1 to 8.2. That's exactly what I wanted.